So to say that Christ is white when he is clearly black is nonsense. This is just deception by my people and lies to hide, because they know how important it is. They know how important the real Jews are, and they have done everything that they can to hide their identity from them and to cut them off from being a nation.
The acceptance of black Jesus among the whites depends on the background culture of the white man, depends on the beliefs of the individual. It's so hard to get white people accepting black Jesus, so hard. If that person, it doesn't know about the history, it's so hard. But in today's video, I'm going to react on this video of a white man accepting black Jesus. First of all, let's see this video and then we go react on it.
You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the biblical Israelites, according to the curses of Deuteronomy 28. What I want to go into today is show that Christ does have a color and that Christ is, according to the Bible, a black man. He is not a white man, as the Christian church teaches and has deceived the whole world to follow after the image that the Bible calls the image of the beast. But he is indeed a black man. I want to read out of Jeremiah in the King James Version, of which King James himself was a black man. And I want to read chapter 14, verse 2. It reads as follows: Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They, Judah, are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. I had to learn this myself, but the word Jew comes from the word Judah. And the white people in Israel right now, claiming to be the Jews, say they are Jewish. Ish, the suffix ish, means of or pertaining to, similar to. They wish they were the Jews, but they know that they are not the real Jews. I also want to go to Hebrews, and we could do this all day long, showing that Christ is a black man and not a white man and not a chameleon, as the Christian church, the modern day Christianity has called. They as soon as you prove that he's black, they say, well, he's invisible, or he can change to whatever color he wants to be. Christ had a body and Christ had a color. Christ came from the tribe of Judah. In Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14, it says, For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. So it is evident that Christ sprang from the tribe of Judah. Judah is the strongest tribe. It is the head tribe of all Israel. So of course, Christ would spring out of the tribe of Judah through the lineage of David. And David's lineage does not come forward to Mary. Christ had an earthly father as well. David's lineage comes forward to Joseph. So Joseph was Christ's earthly father. But just like they try to tear the black family apart, today they try to do the same thing in the Bible. They try to separate the man from the woman. And they've done the same thing with Christ's earthly family, with his mother and his father. Now I want to go to Revelation chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 14. First of all, the book of Revelation, the root word is to reveal. So Christ is about to be revealed. Why is he about to be revealed? Because God knew that in the end times, of which we are in, that should be obvious, that my people, the powers that be, would come up with a white image, and that they would convince the entire world that he is the image of Christ, when he is not. But I'm going to start at verse 14. Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. It says, his head, in other words, the hair on his head, and his hairs, his beard, were white. So Christ was fully gray. He was white-headed. And then it gives you the texture, like wool. There's only one nationality of people on the face of the earth that have woolly hair. It says that his hair was white like wool, as white as snow, fully gray. It says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, because Christ drank wine in moderation. If you go back and you read concerning, it says when Shiloh comes, which Shiloh is Christ, it says that his eyes would be red with wine in Genesis, I believe, chapter 49, verse 12. It tells you. So no, Christ was not shooting laser beams out of his eyes. Christ did not have literal flames in his eyes. Christ drank wine. And when black people drink wine, their eyes turn red. The whites of their eyes turn red. It says, verse 15, it says, and his feet like unto fine brass. Brass is brown, as if they burned in a furnace. If you want to see what color brass turns when you put it in a furnace, go on Google and look it up. It gets very dark. So Christ was a very dark-skinned black man with white woolly hair and red eyes, because Christ drank wine in moderation, not to get drunk. It says, and his voice as the sound of many waters, letting you know that Christ spoke loudly. Christ was a very austere man. Christ was not the punk that they have portrayed him to be in all of these movies, the effeminate image that they have given us. That's not how Christ acted. And just in case you want to get simple and say that this image is not literally how Christ looked, let's read Revelation 1 and start at verse 10, because John the Revelator saw Christ when Christ was on the earth as a man, so he knew what Christ looked like. Revelation chapter 1 verse 10. This is John the Revelator who saw Christ speaking. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as a trumpet, loud, saying, and this is Christ speaking, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. What thou seest, write in a book and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. Then John says, and I turned, so John turned around to see the voice that spake with me. So he turned to see who was speaking to him. He turned to look at him. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, let's see what he saw. One like unto the Son of Man. Christ is the Son of Man because Christ came through the seed of man, through the lineage of David. Christ had an earthly father. He was not immaculately conceived. That is nonsense. So John, who had seen Christ when Christ walked the earth as a man, he turned to see the voice that spoke with him, and he saw someone that looked like Christ. So obviously he recognized him as Christ. So this is not a different version of Christ, a different looking image of Christ. It is still Christ. And there are many other verses that you can go to. The fact that you go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1, it tells you that Moses is speaking to the Israelites. Then you read that the Israelites went into slavery on cargo slave ships. Who are the people that went into slavery on cargo slave ships? The so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, the so-called Native Americans. One of those tribes is the tribe of Judah, the American blacks. So to say that Christ is white when he is clearly black is nonsense. This is just deception by my people and lies to hide because they know how important it is. They know how important the real Jews are, and they have done everything that they can to hide their identity from them and to cut them off from being a nation.
As I started, the acceptance of black Jesus among the whites depend on the personal beliefs or the background and exposure on diverse deception of religious figures. So traditionally, Western people or Western depictions of Jesus typically show him with European features, largely due to the influence of European artists who created religion imagery during the Renaissance and subsequent centuries. These deceptions or these depictions became widespread and for many represent a default image of Jesus. And for this, I can say that for white people to embrace white Jesus, it's normal, because even if the artist could be the black, he could draw Jesus as the image of a black. He could draw Jesus as the image of Asian. He could draw Jesus as a Hispaniola. He could draw Jesus as Indian. You know, anyone who draws, an artist draws a picture resembling something that's it's a environment or it's near him. And that's why when I see white people saying that Jesus is white, I accept Jesus is white. But historically, Jesus is black. Because if your Jesus is white, I cannot condemn you having your Jesus white. I don't know why you are praising or the reason why you are praising or the who you are praising. I don't know your father. I don't know your God. So if your Jesus is black, for me, it's okay. If your Jesus is white, it's very much okay. That's it. But the true Jesus is black. So for this white American or white person accepting that Jesus is black is a plus for him. And I've seen it is a personal or individual beliefs. He has gone historically and learn about it. And I've seen a lot of videos where white people are denying black Jesus, others are accepting black Jesus. But again, I've seen clips and I've met people who are black who don't associate themselves with black Jesus. Most of them are saying Jesus is Jesus because of the brainwashed in their mind, because of the image of white Jesus that has been on their mind for decades and decades. They came here, they were born, their father was praising this white Jesus, their grandfather had this white Jesus picture, and he grew up or she grew up seeing the picture of Jesus, seeing the videos, the movies of Jesus being white. So even black people, they don't accept that Jesus is black. It's very hard to turn their hearts. It's very hard to make them now leave the issue of white or black and accept now Jesus is black. Very hard. Very hard. However, as historical studies have suggested that Jesus likely had Middle Eastern features more in line with those of the people in the region. There's been growing movement to explore and embrace diverse representation, including Black, Middle Eastern, and other ethically accurate deceptions of Jesus. For some white people, seeing Jesus portrayed as black or with other non-European features has been a welcome shift, promoting inclusivity and a most accurate historical perspective. Others may resist this change, feeling that it challenges the long-held cultural or religious image. This resistance can sometimes be tied to unconscious biases, traditionalism, or simply unfamiliarity with diverse representation. Now, overall, we can say that the acceptance of Black Jesus is increasingly recognized in many Christian communities that value diversity and historical accuracy. Conversation around this representation can be challenging, but often foster greater understanding and appreciation of Jesus as a figure for all humanity, transcending race and ethnicity. And for this, when we say that some white people does not accept Black Jesus, for me, I accept, because you can't just wake up, you know, your father, you have seen your father is white all a day, and then your mom tells you, you know what, this your father, black father. You will start asking questions, and it'll take you time for you to accept. And I understand why most of the white people does not agree. Most of them does not agree because they have this racism thoughts. Others, they does not agree because of traditionalism. Others, they does not agree because a black person cannot be superior to them. So if Jesus is black, that means they are submitting to a black person, and this, it's very bad to them. They cannot accept to submit submit themselves to a black person. They cannot admit that they are praying to a black person. This is so hard for most of black people or most of white people to accept. But again, it's so hard again for most of black people to accept that I am submitting to a black person too. I am black. Why am I submitting to a black person? Most of black people see white people as gods. Believe me, they respect, even when a white person comes in a train and this only one spot left, he will wake up for the white person. That's how it is. It's a brainwash as something that have been installed in our brain for long. So the issue of is Jesus black and white is still it's still an issue up to now. In a black family, it's an issue. In a white family, it's an issue. Historically, Jesus was most likely neither black nor white in the modern sense. Based on what we know of his origins, he was a Jewish man born in the region of Judea in the Middle East. Modern day, it's called Israel or Palestine. This area has historically been home of people of Semitic and other Middle Eastern ancestries. The people in this region at time typically has darker skin tone, brown eyes, and dark hair, features consistent with the diverse Mediterranean and Middle Eastern population of today. Here we are engaging ourselves if Jesus is white and black. This topic has been on and on. We have talked several times, but we're just reacting on the video of this a young white person who is accepting that Jesus is black, and he has gave his views on it. And I'm happy that white people are waking up to accepting the fact that they can submit to a black Jesus. It's so hard to tell a white person that a black person is leading. Even it's very, very hard. Now, artistic depictions of Jesus has varied greatly over the centuries and across cultures. In Europe, artists typically painted Jesus with European features, which made him look like white. Meanwhile, in African, Asian, and Latin American traditional, Jesus is often depicted with features reflecting the people in those cultures. These portraits often served as a way for communities to feel a connection with Jesus as a figure who understood and shared in their identity. In short, while we can know Jesus' exact appearance, it's likely he had the features of the Middle Eastern man for that era, which will be distinct from both Black African and North European traits. Today, many people choose to depict Jesus in ways that resonate with their culture identity and personal understanding, seeing him as a figure of transcendent race. Now, I agree that we can choose. You can choose Jesus to be white. You can choose Jesus to be black. You can choose Jesus to be Asia, as I said. But artists drawing Jesus as their own features, because if Jesus resemble you, if we resemble God, if God made us on his own image, that means if I'm black, for example, I'm black, if I draw Jesus, I may draw someone who resembling me as a black person. If I'm Indian, I'll draw Jesus resembling me as an Indian. If I'm an Arab, I'll draw him resembling me. But it's very, very hard to change the fact that the first artist to draw Jesus drew it with European features, and was Jesus. Jesus was white, and we have been forced to study this black or this white Jesus. We have been forced to study or to see pictures or to watch videos of this white Jesus. So it's very hard for us to remove him from our mind, from the mind which is being colonized, from a mind which is being brainwashed, from a mind which believes in a white supremacy, from a mind which believes in colonization, from a mind which believes that white people are the masters and black people are the slaves, because a lot of black minds believe that we are still slaves to the white people, and that's why we celebrate white people when you see them. That's why we can wake up for them to sit down and us to stand as black people. That's why when you see a white man doing mistakes, you will not condemn him. And that's why we see in South Africa where South Africans, they hate black people more than they hate the white, because somehow they feel that white people are superior. And it's not like that. But we are going into eras that things need to be set straight. And that's why the story of black and white Jesus came out. Because we need to know the Jesus we are worshiping. Are we worshiping Jesus that is not the true Jesus? Are we worshiping God that is not a true God? Because certain communities just can come out with their own God and start telling people that this is God. And because it's a circumnavigation thing, one connection and traditional, you just get yourself believing in some things that is not yours. You are living your beliefs going to a white man's belief, because they are teaching us, they wrote the history, they were here, they came with the Bible, they came with the Christianity, they came with the medical, and we believe that they are the one who came with life. But for those all white people who are accepting black Jesus, kudos to them, because they now know who is the true Messiah, who is the true Yeshua, who is the true Joshua. But for me, condemning your white Jesus is another thing, because if you do Jesus according to how you look like, it's okay. I don't know what you think on the comment section. I am the Kenyan Beast. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video and more. So you can send some super thanks there, because just to push the work that I'm doing. But again, you can join my membership channel. Until next episode, peace be with you.